Hi, Easy Busy here. It's been a long time. I haven't done any videos and I feel really bad about it because I thought this was going to be something I was going to do on a regular basis. But then something happened and I got really sidetracked. Um, it's a long story, but it's also not a very long story. It's quite a short story and an easy story to understand. I was love bombed by another narcissist, but this one was like a covert narcissist. They say someone who's not grandiose, who's not full of himself, but who was quite, how do you say that? Seemed quite empathetic at first. And the story goes around December last year, mid-December, an old school friend made contact with me and over Facebook and asked how I was doing, and he lives in France, and I said, yeah, I'm not too bad, but sadly I'm separated now from my ex-husband due to some emotional abuse going on. And he said, oh wow, that's really sad, but at the same time it's good to know that you're single because I'm single too. And and then it went from there. It very quickly came to the love bombing. He said that we went to high school together, and he said since high school he had a crush on me, and he had been in different relationships and that had never worked out, and he was now single, and he was really happy that I was single too, and he would like to start something with me. And it became a long distance relationship because him living in France, I live in Australia, and but very quickly it became very intense, and I didn't have any alarm bells going off, which is, I think, because I was still, basically I was of course still grieving my relationship with my ex-husband. Even though I left him, it's still a hard thing to do because every relationship has its good moments, and it wasn't all doom and gloom. We had some very, very happy moments, and some things were good about the relationship, but there was a lot of emotional abuse, and there was a lot of neglect, and I didn't feel loved the way I expected to be loved. And even though I showed him so much love and so much affection, that wasn't returned to me. So, to all those who criticize women, because I've seen that online, people criticize women who divorce their husbands, there is a reason for it. We don't do it lightly. I didn't do it lightly anyway. If I thought that I could stay with this man for the rest of my life, of course I would have stayed with him, and I've worked on that relationship. But when you're the only one who works on the relationship and the other person doesn't want to work on it, and he told me quite clearly, I don't want to change. He always used to say that, I don't want to change. He didn't want to do therapy. He didn't want to listen to my complaints or whatever I wanted, where I wanted improvements. For example, I wanted more intimacy. I wanted to do more things together, go out together, maybe go on a vacation together, and we never did that. And also when I tried to be affectionate with him, he was always rejecting me, or most of the time. He never initiated any anything in the bedroom, never, ever, ever. It was always up to me. So I felt that I was the only one putting a lot of effort into this relationship, and there were other things going on. But what I want to say is that it's very easy to judge, but when you're not in it. And yes, I do have some regrets, but mainly the regrets are for the good times we had together. And of course, like no person is all bad or all good, so they all have their good and bad sides. So yes, so when I was in the situation where my old school friend was love bombing me, and sending me all these messages. Oh, I've always been in love with you, and I can see your photo, you're so beautiful, and I'm already falling in love with you, and I want to be with you forever, and I've never been happy in a relationship, but I know I can be happy with you. You're my soulmate, you're the only one that I've ever had these feelings for. And that's just long distance. I mean, you know, we haven't met since high school. It's a long time ago. We were in Africa. That's a long story because our parents were expats. And yeah, so I got caught into that vortex of, you know, feeling good and feeling euphoric. Oh, someone loves me, he's a good man, he's blah, blah, blah. He hasn't had much luck with relationships because he was, from very early on, he was also a little bit of a victim because he said women have always treated him very badly, and, you know, he wasn't very lucky with, you know, with women, and yeah, and I didn't have any alarm bells going off about different things. Like, you know, for example, he is a person who lives with his mother, and he didn't tell me that at first. You know, he was hiding. He said, "Oh, I have my own flat, and I live by myself with my dog," and so on. And but then I could see photos of him with his mum in a different house. So I said, "Where do you actually live?" And he said, "Oh, I have to live with my mum because my flat nearly got broken in, and I got, you know, I got aggressed by some thugs at one stage, and I was in a dangerous situation. The police advised me to go and live with my mum." And I thought that was a bit strange, you know, and it's a strange excuse as well, you know. So for a 56-year-old man to live with his mum, I find that not really appropriate, if you want to, you know, if you know what I mean. So, and another one, I told him that I really don't like, you know, drinkers, like alcoholics, and he promised me, I know I don't drink, I never go to pubs or bars or whatever. And he said, I smoke, but I only smoke a little bit. And same thing, I don't really particularly like smokers because I'm a bit of a health fanatic. I like exercising, I like healthy lifestyle. I'm not always healthy, I admit, you know, but I do my best to do all the things that are required for good health, like exercise, a good diet, good lifestyle, you know, meditation and all these things. And one thing I don't like is people who smoke excessively, and most smokers do smoke excessively, and also daily drinkers. You know, I don't mind someone having a drink on a special occasion and for celebration with friends or something, but when it becomes a daily habit, and especially when someone drinks throughout the day, I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. I think it's a bit of a problem, and I don't like the smell of it. I don't like what it does to the person. I just think it's not appropriate, and it's not healthy. So anyway, no alarm bells went off, and then one day we had a conversation on the phone, and the phone cut off, and I tried to ring him again several times, and I told him, can you please ring me on WhatsApp, you know? And he got quite angry about that, you know. He was for no reason, and I was quite shocked, you know, and I was actually crying. I was hypersensitive, and I told him, look, you know, I'm, you know, very hurt by you getting angry at me over this. And he didn't even apologize, you know. He said, it's because when people bother me too much, you know, I just explode. And at that time, my alarm bell still didn't go off. And I said, okay, he must have had a bad moment. And later on I said, well, you didn't even apologize for getting angry at me over this, and it's something really that's not worth getting angry over. And so he did apologize, but it wasn't like an honest apology. It was just forced, I think, and it was just like to calm me down and to make me happy. So the relationship continued and continued. We were talking, FaceTiming every day, messaging like 20 times a day. It was really intense. And straight away he wanted to marry me and all this, all this stuff, that shouldn't really. I mean, you can't meet someone today and marry them tomorrow. It's not really the way it works. But anyway, we decided to meet up in France, and I bought a also another alarm bell. He doesn't have any money, so I had to pay for my flight to Paris. And I went there with my youngest daughter, who's just 16, because she's very close to me and she never wants to be away from me. So I said, I have to come with my daughter because she has separation anxiety from me, and she doesn't want to be left in Perth while I'm over there, even if it's just for 2 weeks. So I came with my daughter, and very quickly I was at his place with his mum, and very quickly I didn't like the way things were going, because I regret it now, but I must admit we did sleep together, and it wasn't very good. It was quite a disappointment, but that's not really the problem, At our age, sex is not really that important anymore. The friendship is more important. The friendship, the respect. There are other things. Anyway, but his dog was sleeping in the bed with us, and I said, really, I can't have a dog sleeping in the bed with us. I don't think it's very good, and I don't think it's appropriate, and I really have my boundaries too. And but he got angry over that. He said the dog needs to sleep with us because this dog is a rescue dog, and from day one he slept with me, and he has separation anxiety and all this stuff. I said, well, I don't really like it, but then I didn't say anything because already I thought, no, this is not going to work. This guy is married to his dog. Anyway, and as time went by, several times I saw him getting angry with his mum. His mum was actually lovely. She was a lovely lady. I really liked her. And I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye to her. That's another story, but I'll come to it. And so another thing I noticed, that there was always alcohol on his breath. I could smell it. I mean, I was married to an alcoholic, maybe I should say 2 alcoholics. The first one was a binge drinker. The second one was a top-up drinker. Like, a binge drinker is someone who will have binges and limits himself to a few days a week, but then goes really crazy on the drink. And top-up drinker is someone who drinks more daily, and it's more subtle. He will have a constant level of alcohol in his blood, and when that level goes down, he will have to top it up. So it's a person who will really make sense and who will talk in a sober way, and it's very hard to pinpoint. But my breath is like a hound's breath. I can detect alcohol on anyone so quickly. I said, this is really strange for someone who says he doesn't drink to have alcohol on his breath. And I said, maybe he did just drink. He had a drink last night before I arrived on the plane, and he was nervous, blah, blah, blah. But I continually could smell that alcohol on the breath, and even in the morning. So I did a bit of a search through the house, because I'm a bit of a detective, and I like to find out what's really going on. So I found a bottle of vodka in the freezer, and I sort of took a mental reminder of where the level was. And the next day I found out that a quarter of the bottle had been drunk, but he did it secretly. He mixed it with lemonade and stuff like that. And I should have really confronted him about it, because he told me that he wasn't a drinker, and that was one of the criteria. I can't really go out with a drinker. I've been there, done that, and it's not my thing. And for him to lie to me about that was a big thing, but I should have confronted him about it, but I couldn't be bothered. And I just said to him, oh, you're a drinker. And he just denied it. So, oh, no, I'm not a drinker. Anyway, I left it at that. And then I think we arrived on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think So we arrived on a Saturday, then we spent Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't think it was if it was Wednesday morning that I left. I think it was Wednesday morning, or was it Thursday? It could have been Thursday. I have to look in my records. I've got some Airbnb records. Anyway, on the Wednesday, night, we spent a really bad day. He took us to some sort of, a castle, and the castle, to be admitted, you had to make a reservation, which we hadn't done, but that, I'm not saying that's his fault, but also it was the whole day was a big stuff up, but also that night we went to a restaurant, and I had to pay for everything, and he really ordered the most expensive thing on the menu. He ordered drinks and all the desserts and everything, and I felt that he was taking advantage of me, to be quite honest, and I felt that he was so entitled, because the whole time also, whenever we went out, I was making sandwiches, I was paying for all the groceries, I was paying for the petrol in the car, so I paid for everything, which is good because I have no regrets about leaving later on, because I didn't leave him with any bills. I paid for everything I utilized, and so I have no regrets, or I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel guilty about having used him in that sense. So on the night of the Wednesday, I think it was, I went to see my daughter in her room, and I said, look, I can't continue in this relationship. I think we'll just stay the 2 weeks. We'll do, I'll pretend that everything's okay, and then once I'm back home in Australia, I'm gonna tell him that it's over. But then I thought, no, I can't do this. I'm sorry. It's, and then he would expect me to, to sleep with him and all that. I can't. I said to my daughter, pack your suitcase tonight, and I will pack mine, have it all ready, and tomorrow morning, early in the morning, around 5 a.m, I will get you and we'll leave. And she said, where are we going to go? I said, I'll just reserve an Airbnb in Paris, and then we spend the rest of our holiday in Paris, just the two of us doing some sightseeing. And yeah, she was fine with it. She packed her suitcase, and then that evening he was obviously drunk, because he fell asleep on the couch snoring with his dog next to him, which was so pathetic, instead of like talking to me and trying to spend time with me, like sitting on the couch snoring like an idiot. Anyway, I said to him, and I was scared he was going to sit on that couch all night, because then I wouldn't be able to leave, because I had to go past the living room to get through the veranda door to go outside, because I'd already planned my escape. I knew that the front gate, there was a side gate that wasn't locked with a key, so we could go out through there. But I had to go through the living room. I didn't want him to stay on that couch. So I said to him, it's time to go to bed. Come, I'll go with you, and all this. And I managed to persuade him to go to bed, and I lied down next to him for a little bit, pretending all was honky-dory, and then once he was fast asleep, snoring his head off, because he was the biggest snorer too, and I don't really like people snoring next to me. I'm a very light sleeper, and that will wake me up. So once he was fast asleep, snoring his head off with his dog next to him, of course, because his dog still had to sleep in the bed, despite of what I had said, that I didn't like having animals in the bed with me. I love animals, don't get me wrong, but I just don't like them in my bed, that's all. And because I'm a very light sleeper, and when they rummage around the room at night, or they get restless, I wake up, and then I can't go back to sleep. Anyway, I took my stuff. I'd already moved my suitcase into my daughter's room by that stage, So I left, there was a bag with all stuff, and later on I sent him a message. I said, just throw it all out, because I could just take the suitcase. I couldn't take my bag with other stuff in there. It would be too much to carry, and I had to lighten my suitcase a little bit too, because it was quite heavy. So I also said to my daughter that night, get as much stuff out of your suitcase as you can, because we have to lug this suitcase around in Paris, and it will be quite heavy, and the less we carry, the better it is. So then I went downstairs and lied down on the couch, and I couldn't sleep. My heart was beating us, because the scenario went through my head, what I was going to do. And about 4 a.m. in the morning, his mum came down. She's a lovely lady. She's about 76, very, very good for her age. And she said to me, I usually come down at this time to have a cuppa and read a magazine, and then I go back to bed later on when I feel a bit tired. I said, that's lovely, And she said, what are you doing up? I said, I've just got a migraine, and, I'm a migraine sufferer, and I just couldn't sleep. I've got a migraine. I said, would you like some painkillers? And I took some paracetamol, which is, how do you call it? Tylenol in America. But anyway, I thanked her for that, and I went back to lie down on the couch, and she said, she was asking about her son. I said, well, he's in bed. And the dog? She said, he's sleeping next to him. And she knew, because I had told her beforehand that I didn't really like the dog in the bed. So she sort of shook her head a little bit, and as if to say, well, that's not very good, because he should really understand that you don't like animals in the bed. Anyway, I was quite worried that she wouldn't go back to bed, because I needed to wake up my daughter and go and leave the house. So she didn't go back to bed. Actually, she stayed there. 5 a.m. she was still there reading her magazine, drinking her coffee or whatever it was. So I said, no, that's it. I have to do something, because he's gonna get up soon, and then my chance of escaping will be blown, So I went to my daughter's room and I said, wake up, we need to go now. And I got her suitcase. Mine was already, I had already parked my suitcase in front of the gate, so it was ready to go. So I just took her suitcase down. No, I think I had both of them already ready, because during the night, before the mum woke up, I got my daughter's suitcase and I put it next to the gate with my suitcase. So I said to my daughter, let's go. So she got up, get dressed in 5 minutes. She's really good. Didn't waste her time, didn't even go to the toilet. We went downstairs very carefully, and I didn't know if the mum was still there. So I sort of peeky-booed into the kitchen, because she was sitting in the kitchen drinking her coffee. And yeah, she was still there, leafing through her magazine. And she didn't look up, so she didn't see me. And I said to Nina, let's go. So we went out the back door, but we couldn't close it anymore, because it only closes from the inside. So that door must have been ajar. It must have been really strange to see that later on. But the mum didn't hear me. She was so absorbed in her reading, she didn't see me. And we went outside, and we walked down the street very quickly, and went around a few houses, and then finally stopped in a street which was far enough from his house. And then we were standing there with 2 suitcases, and someone, a gentleman, looked out a window at the top of a house, in an attic room. He said, what are you doing there? And I said, we're just, escaping from a difficult situation, and would you be so kind and give us your address so we can call a taxi? So he gave us the address, and I called a taxi. The taxi wasn't very long to arrive, and the taxi took us to the train station. Then we went on the train into Paris, and I had reserved an Airbnb So we waited at the train station for the B&B to be ready to receive us, and later on we went there. So I feel really bad that I escaped like that, but I didn't find any other way, and I felt because of the love bombing, he would have taken it really badly if I said, look, this is not going to work out. And there were other reasons why it didn't work out, because he was smoking like a chimney. My daughter was getting asthma from it, and I don't really like the smell of someone who is smoking constantly. And I had asked him, I said, look, this is going to be a problem, later on down the track. I said, if you, want to stay with me, you can't really, you won't really be able to smoke like that, because I can't really handle it. And he took it very badly as well. I said, I can't really stop smoking. It's an addiction, blah, blah, blah. I've been doing it forever. And I said, well, when you first talked to me, you said you were going to give it up, and you said you didn't smoke that much, but now I can see that you're really, a chain smoker, basically. And but he wasn't apologetic about that. He just didn't care. He would just continued doing it. And so it was just him drinking, smoking. And sorry, but that sort of lifestyle doesn't interest me very much. Like I said, I'm more into keeping healthy and doing, stuff for my fitness, and I'd rather go and exercise at the gym or do other things. But anyway, I did escape, and I blocked him on all social media. I did write a message. I did message him. No, I emailed him. I said, I'm very sorry. It's not going to work out. After 2 failed marriages, I feel that I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I might not be in a relationship at all for the rest of my life. I don't know. But it's got nothing to do with you. I said, you're a very kind and thoughtful person, and you got great qualities, but I just feel that I can't do this, and I'm very sorry. Especially sorry that I couldn't say goodbye to your mum, because she was really lovely to me and very welcoming. And with the stuff that I left behind, please throw it all in the bin, and don't worry about it. Yeah, and I said, you're a very good person and you deserve better. And that was it. I blocked him on all social media. I blocked his phone numbers because I really didn't want to go into further explanations. And I decided I'm not going to blame him. It's not his fault. And that's the love bombing was the big thing that got me drawn into this online relationship. But then once I saw the person in real life, it wasn't what I expected. So you have to be very careful, because when you know someone over social media and just texting and FaceTiming, you're projecting a lot of your own desires and a lot of your own expectations onto that person, and you imagine a person that is not the real person. And then when I actually saw the real person and got to meet him, it was like a cold shower, it was like I was confronted with reality, and I didn't like it. We didn't click, At first I thought, we did click, but then we didn't click. And another thing that really put me off, it's kind of stupid, but I try to be very honest. Another thing that put me off is that he had all rotten teeth in his mouth. And to me, especially living in France where, dental care is free, that really astounded me, because why would someone not look after their teeth? And it looks so bad, and it smells bad as well, and it's just not very nice, and especially when there's no excuse. It's not a money thing, not like, I spent thousands of dollars on my teeth to get them, to keep them in good shape and in good condition, because in Australia, I guess like in America, dental care is not free. We do have private insurance, but they only cover a little bit of it, and the rest you have to do it yourself. You have to pay for it yourself, but it's worth it. And I do like to have healthy teeth, not only because it looks nice, but it's also very important for your general health. So that's another thing that I didn't like. He always rotten teeth in his mouth. At least, you know, do something about it. But he wasn't prepared to do anything about it. You know, just like, yeah. And there were other things. You know, I didn't. His body was very neglected and very didn't do anything, any sort of, you know, exercise or to keep himself fit or anyway. That's another story. I mean, I don't really care. You know. At the end of the day, and he had no money whatsoever, nothing, you know, and he was living at his mum, so not even paying rent, not even independent in that way, just like a little boy, really, just still living at mum's, you know, and that's, yeah, I'm not blaming everything on him. I'm just blaming it on being sucked into an online relationship, which I was, you know, was a distraction from my pain, I guess, from being away from my ex-husband, with, you know, because I still don't get me wrong, I still love my ex-husband and I always will, but he will never change and he will always be abusive towards me, so I had to go. I didn't have the choice, and no matter what anyone says, I don't care. You can criticize me, and I have tried, you know, don't think I haven't tried. I have been with him for 17 years and I gave it my best shot. So yeah, there you go. I just wanted to give you that update, and hope you have a wonderful day and look after yourself. You know, eat healthy, drink water, and do what's best for you. And yeah, don't stress, and see you next time. Bye bye.